Hello, my good students. You are welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Today, I'm going to take you in a very interesting topic, which at the end, I know you are going to assimilate and you enjoy it.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
This topic is legitimacy and sovereignty. We combine the two because of the interrelationship that exists between them. What are our learning objectives? 1. At the end of the lesson, we expect students to be able to define legitimacy, state the factors that determine legitimacy, give meaning of sovereignty, discuss types of sovereignty. We identify characteristics of sovereignty, and at the end, we look at the last one, mention factors that can limit sovereignty of a state. Let's start with the first one, which is legitimacy. How do we define? By way of meaning, legitimacy could be seen as the general acceptance of the political system and the leaders as appropriate and in line with the laws of the land. What does this tell us? It means citizens, people of the country, will have to accept the government in power, of which, if it's not accepted, then that means that government is not supposed to be. Therefore, that government must be and work in line with the laws of the land. That is what we are trying to say here. What are the factors that determine legitimacy? A, popular support of the citizens. This is key and very important. A government that is not supported will not have its way if it's not supported by the people. B, popular participation of the people, various groups, political parties, and so on in government and politics. You are familiar with the way people engage in political activities in the country. Talk of voting, taking form to participate as contestants for elections, and so on and so on. Even to be able to work as head of governmental agencies and ministries. That is a way of participating in government. Good government that meets up with people's expectations. When people expect something and they get from the government, that government to them is good. Of course, they will give it that support and legitimacy it deserves. Foreign policies adopted by the government. Yes. There are policies embarked upon by government of a country which must be to the interest of the national objectives. What are we trying to say here? For example, Nigeria is a member of international organizations. Nigeria is a friend to many countries of the world, either West Africa, Africa, and other sub-regions or regions of parts of Africa, and all over the world. In the course of this interaction, there are policies embarked upon which they must follow. And these policies will determine whether that government is supported from and within the country. Legality, that government comes to through lawfulness. That is, the government must be legal, not a government that is there by use of force, and must follow the law or what the law says, according to the Constitution of the state. Don't forget, the Constitution is the umbrella under which other laws operate. What are we saying here? We have laws guiding what people do in our religious sects or homes, in our organizations and clubs. We have laws. Even in schools, there are laws guiding what you do. But still, Constitution is the main one that is the head of all other laws that operates in a given state. Therefore, a government must be legal and lawful. It is when this is done, and it's not doing something that's against the rule or what is against what the people expect, that government will be given a great support and will be acceptable according to what legitimacy is talking about. Other aspects of the determinants or factors, internal and external recognition. Yes. What is the meaning of this? Even though within the government is supported and recognized, what of outside the countries? Outside the country, where we have other countries looking or checking what the country is doing, what the government is doing. Such government must also have external recognition. And that is why when Nigerians take a stand or embark on a policy of foreign aspects, it must be recognized by the international world or international organizations like UNO, OAU, and so on. If this is not done, such a government cannot have legitimacy, will not be acceptable, will not be recognized. Now we talk about freedom of the press. Oh, this is very important. The press, the media, television, radio, newspapers, journals. And in these days of social media, you see a lot of things that are going on, the way people express their mind. If the freedom of press is not there, the journalists, the newscasters, the newspaper people, the pressmen are not free to exercise their constitutional rights according to what their job dictates. Then such a government cannot find it easy to be supported. The press must be free to carry out their functions and their activities. Another one is respect for the rule of law. Rule of law says everyone in the country, law must be supreme over them, whether the rulers or the ruled, whether the government or the citizens. It is the same law or constitution that guides everybody. Respect for fundamental rights. Yes, fundamental rights are privileges, freedom that one has as a citizen of his country. If government does not respect people's rights, right to move, right to speak, right to religion, right to name it, all these rights are abused, and citizens will not give support to such a government. Very importantly, free and fair elections. At every periodic change of government, elections conducted must be free and fair. Example of Nigerian case, we have the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, that has conducted elections to political posts. At any time when there are problems and people go, try to protest, you can go to court, you cannot find it easy. All pricing will set up, a lot of things will happen. It's only when free and fair elections are conducted that you can say, yes, we have that government that is acceptable, that has the support of the people. Look at what we have as an example of how people cast their vote all over the country at one time or another, depending on the type of election to be conducted. So, if that is understood, we can move to the next aspect of the topic for today, sovereignty. Remember I said we are going to use this opportunity to explain the two. Because when a government is legitimate, the sovereign, that is the president, the leader, will have opportunity to exercise his powers. If the government is not supported, does not have the acceptability of the people, sovereignty cannot operate. Therefore, let's look at sovereignty. Sovereignty may be defined as the absolute power of the state to exercise supreme power, legal authority over its affairs within its territory without any form of external control. I want you to bring up some of the things that are key as far as this definition is concerned. For example, if you talk about sovereignty, your definition will not be complete if mention is not made of absolute power and legal authority without any form of external control. So a sovereign could be president, could be head of government like prime minister, must be ready to exercise the power in the particular state without any form of external control. Even though, like we know, our president currently has power within the country, cannot go to another country to exercise such powers. And head of states or government of other countries too cannot come and do whatever they like, all because of exercising powers. But then, what is important is the sovereignty of a leader is exercised within the country, considering that the people that are being ruled come to the mind first. That does not mean that when we talk about types of sovereignty, for example, we have internal and external sovereignty. We are going to explain this and clear it once and for all. Number one, internal sovereignty. That is the power to make and enforce laws within the jurisdiction of the state by the leader, by the sovereign. Two, external sovereignty. Power of a country to deal with other national governments and conduct foreign affairs. Conduct foreign affairs does not dictate or does not connote that the president, Tinubu, for example, in Nigeria, will go to other country to exercise his powers. No. But in the course of our relationship with them and their relationship with our country, there will be that succinct understanding in taking actions or decisions that will be binding on the two of them, whether at international organization level or as countries that interact. That is what we are trying to say here. It does not mean the president of a country will go to another country to exercise external power. Don't forget that we said without any form of external control. The next one is legal sovereignty. Power to make and enforce laws in a state. Yes. When you hear the word legal, a lot of you, funny enough, we talk about it's legit or it's not legit. It's legal, legal, legal. That is according to the law of the state. Legal sovereignty. The government must be ready, the leader, to exercise power to make law and enforce laws in the state. Even though the house of lawmaking, the legislature or the parliament is there to exercise the power of making of laws with the executive organ, that is the president, to enforce them. Political sovereignty is another one as type of sovereignty. Power to make and enforce laws in a state. Political, because the government is voted. It has control and support of the law. And it is there by virtue of being voted through elections or by ballot. The jure sovereignty. Sovereignty acquired in accordance with laws of the land. That is, if it is by ballot and gets the support of the people. Remember, we said legitimacy comes in here. In the area of legitimacy, such a government is there. According to the law of the land, it will surely get the support of the people. So the jure sovereignty is acquired in accordance with the law, and constitution dictates what the leader will do. We have other ones. The points are inexhaustive. Therefore, these types of government of sovereignty as government of a country, based on what the leader should be able to do by the power given to that leader according to the constitution, are of different types. Now let's move on to limitations of sovereignty. Regardless of whatever power a leader could exercise, there are limitations. There are things that are binding on him or her in such a way that cannot just become do anyhow to become a dictator or to do whatever he or she likes. That will be against what the law says or against the people of the country. Number one, influence of powerful nations over the weak ones. When you talk about limitation, those things that will not make sovereignty to work in a given state. Limitations, those things that will not make the leader to exercise his powers as he would have loved to do. there are powerful nations all over the world, some of these advanced or well-developed countries that other weaker ones go to for foreign aid, for assistance or whatever. Even though there is no, we don't have the era of colonialism has gone. We still have imperialism. We still have neo-colonialism, whereby some of these countries, they still somehow override the weaker ones. So they have influence on powerful nations, whether because of economic reasons or technical reasons or whichever. There are ways they do it in such a way that some of them will still have their ways that the leader will not be able to exercise power the way we would have not to do. Influence of pressure groups, interest groups, and so on. What are pressure groups? These are groups of associations or groups of people who fight for the interests of their members, who go about fighting for the welfare of their members. And because of doing this, they influence what the government of a country can do, what the leader can do. For example, we can mention associations of doctors, Nigerian Medical Association, National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, Muslim Student Association, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and so on and so forth. When issues come up and they go against what the government has done, it goes a long way to influence the power of the sovereign. For example, we can cite cases of during the period of NSAS, when citizens came out against brutality of the police. At the end of the day, the Inspector General of Police with the commission had to sit together and look at how to make a change. Eventually, SARS was prescribed, and they now brought SWAT. So, it is not something that is as easy to say sovereignty is limited. Whatever the leader will do can be influenced. At the end of the day, he will be forced to rescind the decision and make a change. We have had strikes by ASU, Academic Staff Union of Universities. Went on strike for 8 months. The recent ones is End Bad Governance. It just ended. To God be the glory, it was something that would have scattered the system of this country. So when people come out to protest, when they come out to react to issues, could lead to uproar. At the end of the day, you find the sovereign, the leader, trying to see if it's possible to change that decision he has taken or to make a way to adjust, which, to God be the glory, the president has done to make things to get better. Then, external aids and loans. External aids and loans. Loans are different from aids. When you talk about loans, you collect money or fund to pay back. Aids, is tied to a particular project. Some countries of the world help other countries to carry out developmental projects, infrastructures. These are aids. If this is done, such a country may not have its way. The leader may not have his way when they have issues between them and the other country. So that can limit how such leader will be able to exercise his sovereignty. Membership of international organizations and laws guiding member states, such as UNO, African Union, OPEC. For example, Nigeria is a member of some of these organizations, and what our sovereign, our leader does is determined at times by what they want or what dictates. Look at the example of OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Nigeria has a great revenue as our income from exportation of crude oil. But we don't sell the crude oil ourselves. It is the sale and distribution is determined by OPEC as an organization. When this is done, there is a limit by which the the leader of Nigeria, the president, can exercise his power. We have complex nature of modern government, which may resort to delegation of powers. The whole world is expanding. The nature of the world is so complex that a lot of things are happening, and decisions will not be taken as expected. The leader may want to delegate his powers to ministers, to advisors. Once this is done, some of these powers delegated could be abused by the people to whom the powers of authority are delegated. And at the end, the leader may have a problem. Constitution defines power of the government, which may lead to limitation of its sovereignty. The constitution of a state is what guides how the state operates, both the leader and the citizens. And that constitution can determine the area of jurisdiction or areas of jurisdictions whereby the leader can work, whereby he will exercise his functions, whereby it also exercises powers. There are limitations. And we have said any government or leader that goes against that will not have legitimacy of the people, will not have the acceptability or support of the people. We move on to the next one, public opinion, either expressed internally or externally. What is public opinion? Opinion of a great number of people in a country. Aggregate opinion, what people are saying about a particular issue, national problems that they want something from. And whatever they are saying about it and what they want, form opinion, as written in newspapers, as in the news of television or radio. At the end of the day, it becomes information to the government. This information is passed to them, and the leader will have to, think of what to do. This will not make him to exercise his powers the way we would have loved to. We are talking about limitations. People's custom, norms, values, and traditions is another one. Customs, norms, values, traditions. Our tradition, our ways of doing things, customs. The normal way, which we have seen as normal way. Oh, that is why we have been doing it. Norms, as well as traditions and values, our areas of interest, can determine how the government will, or the leader will act. Or else, that such a government will not be able to exercise its sovereignty, and it will also, like we said, affect legitimacy given to that government and the leader. Then we talk about civil conflicts and uprising. Civil conflicts and uprising, which can bring up riots, fighting, damage of properties, loss of lives. A government that wants to avoid this will surely try to mend ways in such that things will normalize. And because of that, the leader or the sovereign will not be able to exercise his powers the way he will have loved to. So these are limitations, factors that can limit the exercise of power of the leader or the sovereign of a state.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
For practice, I want you to look at these questions. 1. What is legitimacy in government? What is legitimacy in government? B of number 1, the other part, outline 3 factors that determine legitimacy. Outline 3 factors that determine legitimacy. Number 2, elucidate 3 conditions that can limit sovereignty of a state. Elucidate 3 conditions that can limit sovereignty of a state. You have to provide solutions to the questions. The examiner is expecting you to write the points that are straightforward and not too lengthy. But whether at WAEC or NECO level, what's important is the points must be correct. Elucidate means what? To some of us or you may want to say, I don't know this one. We're talking about that you should discuss or explain widely, not just to list or to state. So if you know what it takes, what are the rubrics or instructions that is guiding the particular question. Therefore, let's look at the answers, probable answers to the questions. I say probable because there are other points that you may pick from to add to this. What is legitimacy in government? As we have said, legitimacy may be defined as the general acceptance of the political system and the leaders as appropriate and in line with the laws of the land. I think this is almost perfect, except if you have any other 1 or 2 words to add to it. B, outline 3 factors that determine legitimacy. 3 factors that determine legitimacy. 1, popular participation of the people or various groups, political parties, and so on in government and politics. 2, good government that meets up with people's expectations. 3, foreign policies adopted by the government. We have explained all this. So when you are asking your questions, you can pick from this. You are not far from being right. Number 2, like we have said, 3 conditions that can limit sovereignty of a state. 1, influence of pressure groups, interest groups. For example, which we have said, cases of strikes and protests and riots that has come up one time or another in this country. A good example of what you can use here as conditions that can limit sovereignty of the leader. External aids and loans, like you have explained. When you collect loan, you're expected to pay back. If it is aids, it is tied to a particular project for infrastructural development. Countries help other countries to do this. And when they do, it limits the sovereignty of a state. Complex nature of modern government is another one. It may resort to delegation of powers. The world is complex and things are changing. The leader may have cause to exercise his power while he delegates because of overburden, to avoid overburden of his functions and powers. With this, I believe you are on the right track while answering the questions. Thank you for listening. For being with me today, I want to appreciate you. And if you have any comments, questions to ask, remarks or whatever, you can send it to us on any of our social media platforms as displayed on the screen. I believe we are going to meet again. I want to thank you for being with me. God bless you.